Randall, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for the invite.
Yes. So I'm sure everybody is wondering, you designed Elle Smith, Miss USA's national costume for Miss Universe. So tell us a little bit about what went into making it. It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. The one thing was wonderful because we had to design an idea for a young lady. We had no idea who she was or her personality. So once I got the call that, Miss USA was going to be going to Miss Universe, and of course she would be going to Miss Universe in an RKS Couture original costume, we came up with the concept. We talked about what could we do something different. We didn't necessarily want a patriotic theme because that's typical. We want to be able to step outside of the box and do something different. And the pageant slogan this year was talking about glamour, was really talking about pageantry reimagined, and really talking about the glamour and bringing back glamour in the pageant. Of course, we know Kristen Stewart took over as the director, and with her, she came from from in Texas, where everything is big and fabulous, and she came from that pageant era where glamour was big. It was not, we were not afraid to be glamorous.
Yeah.
So with that being said, her vision was to be, we talked about glamour. And of course, where was Miss USA going to be living? She was going to be living in LA. She's going to be in Hollywood. So why not do a Hollywood thing? Why not do something where we talk about walking the red carpet? Because she's going to be doing more acting gigs. She's going to be doing more appearances on television. She's going to be doing more appearances within the acting community. So that's really her main goal. So to really get into that involvement of her really being involved in the community, I thought, why not go Hollywood glamour? And not knowing the young lady, but looking at all of the girls and saying, what would be a universal theme for these in a universal body? So why not do the Oscar statue, which anyway, once doing the research, we realized that the Emmy is a female. So the Oscar is a male, the Emmy is a female. So that's when we came up with definitely doing the Emmy. So she was always going to be wearing something gold, something fabulous, something, really strategic. And then we added the little skirt to the back. We added the ball. So it became a process, but we didn't know who the girl was. So I was working with several girls for Miss USA, getting the gowns ready and getting gowns and costumes. So what I did was I was strategic. I took each one of their measurements, combined them all, and came up with an average because they were all pretty much different, and came up with an average size that would be phenomenal for a young lady, whoever was crowned. Because competing, we had a couple of 6-footers, and we had a couple of 5'3". So that's a big difference in sizes. So I had to strategically make the costume where we had a little insert, or we had a seam at the waist. So if we needed to stretch it or shorten it, we could. So it was really a process, but it was a nerve-wracking process, but a fun process. And of course, Elle was the perfect girl for the outfit. She was absolutely perfect for it.
I can see how that would be nerve-wracking because everybody was worried. We're like, oh my goodness, Miss USA has to leave the day after she wins to go to the Universe. So how is that going to work out? But you all nailed it, especially with her national costume. And I think that seeing the Emmy and now knowing that the Emmy is a woman is absolutely amazing. It makes it even more phenomenal. So props to you. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you, love.
So moving on, let's talk about how you got into pageants, how you got into coaching and designing. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Growing up, I was a competitive gymnast, and I grew up in Alabama, and I was a competitive gymnast. And when I went to high school, my high school homeroom teacher was about 500 pounds. And he ran a local pageant in the Miss America organization, but he couldn't really get up and walk. He was our choir director. He was our choir director. He was our play director, musical director, and I was in musicals and musical theater with him. So when we got there, he needed someone to teach how to walk. I had gone to Barbizon School of Modeling. I had done a lot of modeling around town, just fitness stuff, fitness modeling, because I was a gymnast. And so he was like, can you teach my girls how to walk? And I was like, sure. So I actually, in the 9th grade, started teaching girls how to walk at Miss Calhoun County and Miss Northeast Alabama. And from there, I became a field director in Miss Alabama. And then, of course, I went on to the University of Alabama and, started working with the Miss Kerala pageant and the Miss University of Alabama pageant. And then, of course, I became a field director in the state of Alabama, and I worked with minority recruitment. I recruited girls back in the 80s for the Miss America organization through HBCUs. I would go through the HBCUs in Alabama and recruit girls to compete. So that's really how it all got started. And it became a love and a passion and a drive. And then it became a business. So literally that's been the focus.
So tell us a little bit about the Randall Effect. So we hear so much about it. So tell us a little bit about what exactly that is.
The Randall Effect came out of one of my very dear friends who was my marketing director. And she still is very much an integral part of my life. And we worked together in a corporation that I worked with. And she always talked about, oh, let's give them the Randall Effect. Let's give them the Randall Effect. So the Randall Effect came about probably about 10 years ago in the sense of understanding that Randall Effect is either my design idea, my reconstruction idea, my walking idea, my pageant techniques, my grooming, my styling, whatever that is, whatever I touch, let's give it the Randall Effect. So that has become a coin that we stick with. The name of my business is RKS Couture, but the Randall Effect has really become the more than the tagline, has become really the verbiage of who I am and what I stand for.
You have over 30 years of experience in the industry. So can you tell us a little bit about how you've seen changes from when you first started in the industry and now?
You're trying to age me, Taylor, and that's not, I'm just joking. But I literally have had about 35 to 40 years in the business, and well, actually closer to 40, now that I think about it. But the great thing about pageantry is it stays very, very glamorous. It stays very glamorous and very true to having successful women compete. Where the biggest change came into is when we try to change the times with what's current. Pageantry goes with what's typically current because, we're in a movement where people judge us based upon the things we do or say. We're in that cancel culture. We're in that feminization culture. We're in a culture where we try not to exploit certain things. But life is about beauty. Life is about where your image makes a difference. Your image really matters. So pageantry really became a little bit more of a focus. It kind of died with the glamour. It died because women are afraid to be beautiful and glamorous at the same time. And there are so many women out here that are super smart, super beautiful, and super glamorous that we have to uplift and uphold. No, we're not going to get every contestant to compete, every young woman to compete in a pageant, but the ones that are competing need to be self-reliant, self-assured, very confident, but most important, be that beautiful vessel that you are and be that articulate woman. Never dumb yourself down. So I think what has happened with pageantry is women go through a roller coaster where they're feeling society. They're feeling where I want to be like society says I need to be, as opposed to standing out and saying, I'm going to be who I am and making a difference. So the biggest part of, I think, of pageantry is the glamour. The glamour went away for a minute. I think it's coming back. I think reality TV has taught us that. I think, people realize that people judge us based upon how we look, how we act. That's why reality TV ratings are so high. It's simply because people like to see a little controversy, a little fun, a little excitement, but they at the end of the show, they like glamour. And I think that's the problem with some of our pageants taking out swimsuit.
That's what I was going to ask you next. So how do you feel about some pageants taking out swimsuit, also for teen contestants as well?
I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it, and I'm going to show you why I hate it. First of all, I think swimsuit shows discipline. Swimsuit shows discipline, and it's not the size 0 that I'm talking about, but we have to look at the size 10 and say, is she fit? Bodies come in different shapes, different sizes. It wasn't the swimsuit that was the problem. The problem was how we judge swimsuit, and I was privy to that. I'm still privy to that. We always want a young lady who fits a mold. She had to be a size 2 or size 4, and she had to be what we consider physically fit. But there are a lot of women who are size 10, size 12, size 14 that are physically fit. So it's not about the swimsuit I think we have to look at. It's about the young lady and her physical fitness and where she is. So I think the journey should be looked at differently. So I don't believe in taking out the swimsuit because a lot of times people look at it because we talked about it being sexist. No, it's not sexist. It's really about showing discipline because now, as you see, the women are getting larger in Miss America. The women are getting larger in other pageants. There's nothing wrong with having larger women in the pageant. It's how we judge them.
Do you think that if swimsuit was rebranded in pageant systems and brought back like in a system like Miss America, if they rebranded swimsuit and brought it back into the system, do you think that the larger women or women who are more of a size 10, size 12 would compete in the pageant maybe? Because I know that's something that shies women like that away from pageants because they don't want to compete in swimsuit because they think they have to be a size 2 or 4.
Absolutely. Well, right now we know that the average size woman in America is size 14. That's first and foremost. We have to really look at where our average size women are. They're size 14. Secondly, as you look at Miss America now, that's why some of the women are more comfortable competing now because they are bigger and they don't have to do much exercise or strenuous exercise because now it's more of a talking program. However, I think we need to rebrand swimsuit, bring it back, bring it back more of a fitness system, a fitness thing, not necessarily a fitness contest, but bring it back to show physical fitness, show discipline, like I said, more than anything. Not necessarily, and you can wear any type of swimsuit. It can be a one piece, it can be a sarong, it could be, a skirt, it can be something where you show it's all about confidence and discipline. That's what it's more than anything. So yes, I think we should rebrand swimsuit and bring it back.
I definitely agree because healthy looks different on everybody.
It does.
Yeah, and you can't get this general society's idea of healthy. You have to have a general idea of healthy because those are the women that are competing in the pageant.
Absolutely.
So moving on to RKS Design, RKS Couture. You design gowns, interview, you name it, you design it. So tell us a little bit about your creative process in designing some of these different pieces for your contestants.
I am always, thinking. I'm always looking at other pictures. I'm always gathering information. My phone is so full of pictures because I'll grab a picture, just something that inspires me. It can be something from nature. It can be something from art. It can be something from fashion. I grab those things to kind of get an understanding. I love a client who comes to me that's open, that knows who she is, that's willing to step outside of the quote unquote box. I don't like a young lady necessarily to be in a box. I'll do girls in the box and feel free all day long, but my creativity truly comes when someone comes in the door and said, let me let you do you. So that's where RKS is really, it's fun to be creative. It's fun to step outside of a box. It's fun to be totally outside of that and find that young lady that really can maneuver and be her very best self in something that's different as opposed to something that's a carbon copy.
Have you had a girl come to you before that's kind of closed-minded and is like, this is what I want, and you've been able to kind of loosen her up a little bit and kind of sprinkle some of the Randall effect on what she's thinking about?
Absolutely right. Sprinkling the Randall effect. Absolutely. That is really what I do. What happens is a young lady can come to me and she may have her ideas, and that's all well and great. But once I start studying her personality, her persona, her body, her overall image, then there's times when I can come in and make tweaks. And once we do like our first fitting, once I start showing her those tweaks, then most people are visual. 70% of people are visual. So once that first fitting happens, then they can kind of see, oh, I see what you mean. Oh, I understand. Oh, this makes sense. Okay, I can appreciate that. So yes. So most of the time with my persuasive nature, I'm able to sprinkle the Randall effect.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about dresses for different body types. So what should we be accentuating for specific body types?
And that's going to be depending on what the young lady wants to accentuate.
Okay.
And years ago, we used to say that we would tell the girls that we wanted to diminish anything on the hips in pageantry, because pageantry was about keeping you long and lean. But now we know that we're in a bootylicious community and society. So because of that, women now want to accentuate their curves. They want to accentuate their curls. So if a woman is very comfortable in her own skin and she has a little bit more hips and she wants to accentuate them, then absolutely, by all means, we will design something that accentuates that hip, whether that's a long split, whether that's a rouging at the hip line, whether that's an hourglass, a mermaid type hourglass fit. It just depends upon what the young lady wants to accentuate. Now, if you come to me and you say, okay, I want to look long and lean, then I'm going to put something on you that's long and lean, whether that's a halter with something that fits around your hip line, creating a small waistline and creating elongation. Now that's typically what we look for in pageantry, but there's some women who have larger breasts and they like their breasts, so they want to accentuate those things. Or you have a beautiful décolleté and you want to show off something off the shoulder. So it depends upon what you're comfortable with. On the flip side, I also get my society women who will come and say, I don't like my arms. You know, after 30 or 40, they start saying, I don't like my arms. I don't like my thighs, or I don't like this. So then it's on the flip side. Then we design stuff based upon what they're most comfortable accentuating, what they're most comfortable showing. So if a woman that is not comfortable with a sleeveless, then we design something that's longer, or something that covers, or a jacket, or something along that line. But we really try to accentuate the most positive things about a young lady, to either elongate her, to make her look leaner, or to accentuate that curve. Some girls are proud of their curves, and I mean, I am embracing that. So embrace those curves, embrace who you are, and definitely we will design for you.
Okay. When you are designing a swimsuit, what would you say is something that you're seeing most often as far as trends go that girls are coming to you with?
Really, a lot of the girls come to me with low bikinis. They come to me with straight across bikinis. And I somehow in a way convince them visually that that's not the best shape for their body. Oftentimes, you know, my younger girls now, my mod girls, they like to wear hip huggers, things that are off the hip. They like low things towards the waist. But on stage and competitively, we want to see a V, because that leg looks longer, the hips look leaner, and you look taller. No matter how tall you are, when you do that V on a bikini, that makes a tremendous difference. So once you show them that, I had a client in just yesterday from Alabama who had a swimsuit, and she was like, well, my new swimsuit hasn't come in, but this one, I want you to look at it. And I looked at it and I pulled it up and showed her the list. She was like, wow, my legs look long. And she's a nice, tall young lady. My legs look long. I didn't wear it like this last year. Well, that's how you need to wear it this year. So because of that, those are the things that we have to do, is just kind of visually show what's important.
Okay. And thinking about that, you know, that's what I would probably consider the Randall effect. You can show people something, maybe they're just wearing it the wrong way, and then you show them to wear it a different way, and you're like, wow,
better way. Yes.
Yes. Just for for everybody watching, for my fun fashion for USA National Miss, I had 2 capes that I was going to put on it, and if I had, you know, done it myself, but if I had gone somewhere else, I would have just gotten them to attach them to the back. But I had one on my shoulder and one on my hip, thanks to Randall. And that's just what you do. You just help widen people's eyes, and that's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
So when you design the state costumes for the contestants for Miss USA, like for Miss California USA, are you trying to achieve an overall theme, or do you do it based off of the girl herself?
I do it off the theme, well, based on the girl, but it's a theme. You want to find something in that state that is very new or very different. You know, not like I said, not necessarily the cookie cutter things that we always do. So you know, we tend to find that, but also what's going to look good on the girl. You know, it's going to make a difference. But I try to find something in the state that pops. You know, or their message. You know, a lot of times the girl has a message, and that's very important. Matter of fact, I had a client this year who had a message. She was a teen. She wanted to really talk about this message, but because of the conservativeness of some of the pageant advisors, she was afraid to share her message. And her message was about equality and diversity. But people told her, no, we don't want you to touch that subject. But if you've got a message, it's important that you share that message. And through that costume, that's the way to do that. Because again, we are trying to make a difference in this world, to make it a better place, to make it more of an even playing ground. So I think it's very important, if equality is your message, then we design a costume around equality. Matter of fact, I think one of the costume winners at Miss USA this year was Michigan, and hers was about the equality, about the wall, about the Black Wall Street wall. So again, she was one of the top 3 winners because she had a message. And I think that's something that we really want to play into. I design based upon the girl, but of course based upon the state. But definitely, if you've got a message, let that message be heard.
And what you're saying can definitely go into your coaching strategies as well. So can you tell us a little bit about what it's like having a one-on-one coaching session with you, whether it be for interview or for walking?
I'm a tough cookie. I'm probably a lot more even keeled now, but I'm tough. I'm tough because I like to produce winners. I like to produce winners, and I like to produce girls that are go-getters, that are going to be, going to set themselves apart. It's fun. I'll be your advocate. I'll be your cheerleader, but I want you to be a hard worker. I want you to be an advocate for hard workmanship. And I think it's something that we have to truly understand is we're not there to be friends. We can be friends, but we're there to get our mission accomplished. And if you're looking for someone that's going to nurture you and hold your hand and tell you how beautiful you are, then that's not me. I'm going to tell you that it's time for us to keep cranking, keep motivating, and keep working hard. But if you need those little extra, I'm doing well, no, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to give it to you because once I tell you you're doing great, you're going to, in your mind, you're going to say, I can cheat a little bit. But as long as you keep striving for success, I'm going to keep giving it to you.
What is your advice to the girl who is kind of in the comfort zone as far as coaching goes? Maybe she doesn't have a coach who is a tough cookie, as you say you are, somebody who is really going to be honest and tell her what it is that she may be doing wrong and the reason why she's not winning.
And I'm going to ask her, how's that going for her? How's that going for you? Is that working for you? That's all you got to ask. Is that working for you? Not to say that everything I touch is going to be fabulous, but I want to know, how's that going for you? Is that working for you? Because everybody learns in a different direction. Now, I've got some friends who are coaches who are nurturers. And if a girl needs that nurturing, I will send them right on over there. Hey, I got somebody over here for you that I think you can get started. Eventually, she can come to me when she's comfortable. But right now, she needs a nurturer. But you find out what that girl's best assets are, and you understand how she best learns. And I may not be the person for her, but I can find somebody that can help her because we've got that network, and that's what's important. So with that being said, I want to know, how is that working for you? Is that successful? And if it's successful, keep going for it. But if it's not, then we need to change some things.
Okay. So if anybody is watching and you need somebody that's going to be honest with you, reach out to Randall. He's telling us right now that he will let you know what it is and what it isn't. So let's play a little bit of a fun game since we're coming towards the end of the interview. So we're going to play a round of trend or here to stay. So basically I'm going to give you something that's popular in pageants right now, and you tell me if you think it's a trend or if it's here to stay.
Okay.
So the first one is shoulder pads.
I think it's a trend.
Okay. Why?
It comes and goes. It comes now back in the 80s and the 90s phase where, Dynasty, you probably don't know anything about Dynasty, but where Dynasty and Joan Collins, they wore the big shoulder pads. And we're into that mode right now. But it's something that reciprocates probably every 20 years, and we're back to that. But it goes away. So, yes, shoulder pads are a fad.
Okay.
I love them, but they're a fad.
Black girls wearing black to compete. And also give me your opinion on
Never.
this one, too.
Never. Unless she's of fair skin. I just have an issue with you lose your features in black on stage. I think black is beautiful. I wear it all day. I wear it every day. But when you're on stage, I think you've got to be really of the right hue. Now there are black girls who girls of color who may be able to get away with it if you're of the fairer skin. When I say fairer skin, I'm talking about you've got a lot of yellow undertone. You're more yellowy. But if you've got a pinker undertone, a more caramel complexion, I think you get lost in black on stage. It works for some girls, but I think you get lost. Now, that's just my own personal opinion, and I've always strayed away from girls in black. Now, I have put some girls in black who insisted on wearing black, And at the end of the thing, I ask them, how did that work for them? And some of them did well, and some of them were like, well, I can see why another color would be best. I think when you're up against girls who are in whites, and now the trends are golds and silvers as you look at Miss Universe this year, I think the top 5 were all in nudes. They were in gold and silvers. So I think that's where we're in the trend. But I think color really pops. So I just like a young, especially African American, in a color. And it doesn't have to be the reds, and it doesn't have to be the yellows, and it doesn't have to be the golds. So, but she can definitely get away with it. Now, if she's gonna wear black, I would do maybe a black lacing with maybe an undertone or a different color. There are ways she can get away with doing black.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are ways she can get away with it.
The next one is embracing curvy pageant girls in mainstream pageants.
I am all for it. I am so all for it. And trust me, I'm from the old school that would and I still tell my clients to this day to lose weight. I tell them to get physically fit. I'm still guilty of that. However, I am for the curvy girls competing. I love to see a girl who steps outside of the box and says, the heck with norms. The heck with normacy. I am going to show these girls I am just as articulate, just as beautiful, just as fashion forward, I can walk just as well as they can, and I can definitely show, I can showcase just as well as a size 2 or a size 0. So I say, let's go for it. Let's stop being shallow. Let's stop being judgmental, and let's let the curvy girls free.
Definitely, and I definitely agree with that. And we have one of our fellow curvy girls, Emma Loney, in the comments saying, I love you for asking and I love your answer. So we have some people resonating with that.
And Emma is from Earth, right?
Yes.
She's the infamous Earth girl. Yes, absolutely. And we love you for embracing who you are and what you do and what you stand for. Continue to strive for that.
The next one is gloves with evening gown.
I absolutely love it. It's a difference, but it's got to be the right evening gown, and it got to be the right design, and it's got to be on the right girl. Not everybody can carry that off, but I love it because it's a statement. I love accessories. I love something dangling, something moving, something different. I just think what happens is we tend to become cookie cutter. And all we're doing is recreating the same girl over and over again. It's time for us to continue to step outside of that box. We talk about being on the red carpet. We talk about going to the Oscars or the Met Gala. Let's let that be in pageantry. But pageantry is always 5 to 10 years behind. So I love a glove and evening gown, but it has to be on the right girl. I love a good accessory on the evening gown.
Pantsuits for evening gown.
Absolutely, and looking forward to it. Now, I have always said when Miss America changed their gown to more red carpet, there hasn't been a girl who's really cracked that just yet. Because I would do a catsuit, a jumpsuit, or a pantsuit, or something that would just stand out. It doesn't have to be a gown. I'm looking for a girl to go to Miss America and be crowned in a pantsuit or a jumpsuit, simply because they told us it's red carpet. It doesn't have to be a gown. So since you want to set a trend, let that be a trend. But I think that's hot.
Tippy tops.
Tippy tops. I'm fond of tippy tops. Not every girl can handle them. They are a pageant standard. They are a pageant standard, and I think they're going to be here to stay. So I just think that the right girl, the right height girl, she doesn't necessarily always need a tippy top. Some of our shorter girls, yes, you can have a tippy top, but I think that they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Every girl wants to appear 6 and 7 inches taller.
I can agree with that. I'm 5'4". I want to be very tall.
Especially a girl who's 5'11" and flat foot, and then she puts on another 4-inch heel, and it's like, okay.
Necklaces with evening gown.
It has to be the right gown, but I definitely think that it's beautiful. We've done some necklaces with evening gown. I work with a couple of guys, a couple of people that does my stoning, and we've done evening gowns, necklaces with evening gown, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. Or we've done embellishment on gowns that look like necklaces, but I think it works.
And
I think it's I think it's here to stay.
Sleeves on evening gown.
Sleeves on evening gown will always be around. It is a tradition. Some girls love a long sleeve. That's just a tradition. And some girls just can't wear it. So, but I think sleeves are definitely here to stay forever. And one of my most iconic gowns had long sleeves. So, and still can compete today. That was Jazz Wilkins at Miss USA, and it still can compete with the gowns to this day. It was the #1 gown in 2012 in the whole country. USA as well as outside of the US. But it is a long sleeve, low back, sexy, it's sides out. It's a fabulous gown. So I think long sleeves are always here to stay.
Natural hair.
Natural hair. I am so glad that pageantry decided to embrace our girls of color, our ethnic background, that some girls, rock their natural hair. And I think I'm so proud that people are now embracing that. I think every girl should be able to wear her natural texture. There's a lot of Caucasian girls who have curly hair. I think we have to look at how we judge our girls and stop trying to put them in a box and let them be their natural beauty.
And we have simple beaded gowns. So something that doesn't have lots of beading on it, but maybe a lining of beading.
Mm-hmm. I am that person that loves it all. So if I start seeing a trend, like now I'm seeing a trend with that gold and silvers. I don't want to do any gold and silver right now. I don't want to do any beading. As you saw Miss South Carolina at Miss USA, there wasn't a stone on her gown.
Yep.
She had the pink gown with the big shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
We did that on purpose because, again, we know every other girl was going to be in beads. So we wanted something that was different. So I'm looking for the color that stood out, that neon pink stood out. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, so we can still do simple gowns. You can do simple gowns, no beading and beading. All of it is really in. So we're really in a society where everything is in. It's just depending on the girl and her ability and her comfort level to pull it off.
Your opinion on sisterhood and empowerment, because nowadays it's not even about the competition anymore. It's really about the sisterhood. And you see girls on stage in multiple different crowning moments cheering for their sister queens. And it's almost in every crowning moment photo now. And it's actually kind of an amazing thing to see. So what's your opinion on that? I
am so thrilled that we can empower each other and we can uplift each other and especially each other's successes. And that's what it's really all about, because you're not competing against those women. You're competing against your own version of yourself, the best version of you. So it is so wonderful to see the empowerment, because that's what comes out of pageantry. We have some wonderful, thoughtful, empowering women in pageantry. And these women are making a difference in our society. And so that's what it's all about. Not everybody can get the crown, but there's always going to be that support system where when it's my turn, you'll support me. So friendships are so in depth. And I do something every year. And this past year was so monumental. I do a boot camp. And we did it on a smaller, intimate level because of COVID. But we do a boot camp every year. And I tell you what, right before Miss Georgia USA, that boot camp, those 5 girls that came for the Miss Division, because I limited it to about 5 girls, those 5 girls that came to the Miss Division, they all became such great friends, and they supported each other at Miss Georgia. And you could see them rooting on the girls who did make it to the 16. You could see them empowering the other women. So I say, and they're still friends to this day. So I say that what's most important is when a girl is empowered and when she stands up and when she's excited. I think that's really the biggest ticket, the biggest takeaway of the ticket, is to really empower each other. So I love it.
We have somebody in the comments asking regarding the natural hair question: curly or straightened natural hair?
That's going to depend upon what's best suit that person. So if your hair is really, really curly, and you get a kink or your curl pattern, then that's going to depend upon you. And like Elle has a deep curl pattern. Elle has a deep curl pattern. They went in with the wand to just silken it out to make it more fuller, but she has a deep curl pattern. But there are some girls who have a looser curl pattern, and looser curl patterns are just as pretty. So it doesn't really matter. It just depends upon what your curl pattern is doing.
And we have some questions in the question box. One says, how do you stay up to date with current trends?
I'm always, like I said, I'm always researching. I'm always watching. I'm definitely looking at Hollywood. I'm definitely, getting inspiration from other designers. I'm getting inspiration from TV, from television, from movies, from just inspiration. So I stay current by really watching, learning, and growing. I work in the LGBTQ community with a lot of female impersonators and drag girls and drag queens and things of that nature, where they are so creative. So they keep me creative, they keep me young, they keep me vibrant, because I learn things from different designers, and some of them are new, up and coming. Some of them have been in the industry for a long time, but that's really what I do. I just look around and research and find ideas and things and just kind of enhance it. So that's how I stay relevant. I just continuously work at it.
Okay. And that's absolutely amazing that you draw inspiration from the LGBTQ community, because I do feel like they influence a lot of the current trends that are going on right now.
Absolutely. That's why RuPaul Drag Race is so popular. RuPaul Drag Race and Pose. That's why those shows were so popular, because it gives you an insight to a lifestyle that most mainstream Americans don't understand. But it's changing and enhancing, and you've got to be creative in order to get a man to look like that. So you got to be creative.
And the very last question: what is your most proud project?
Oh, wow. I have so many. I won't necessarily say one is the proudest project, but I would definitely say that I have so many phenomenal projects that I am just in awe and blessed that I have the opportunity to continue to touch people, to motivate people, to design for people. So I will always say that, coming off of Miss USA, I had some phenomenal contestants there. They did an amazing job. I was excited. So my proudest moments are always my last moments, I can say that. So, I'm proud of the Miss Georgias. I'm proud of the Miss Californias. I'm proud of the Miss South Carolinas. I'm proud of the Miss Mississippis. I'm proud of the Miss Tennessees. I'm proud of the girls that I was able to touch and command and to truly make a difference in their lives. And what was great was when I got to Miss USA, I was in the elevator, and the atmosphere was totally different this year. And I was in the elevator, and I was in the elevator with other contestants from Texas and New York, and they were like, "I know who you are. I wish you would." I said, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram." So it's such an amazing thing to just truly understand that. My last project is always my most proudest project. So I'm proud of the girls that did USA. I'm proud that had the opportunity to leave Tulsa, Oklahoma, to go to Houston, Texas the next morning after Miss USA to help get Elle ready, to fit her costume and do her fittings for her wardrobe, and just kind of play around with Miss USA. So just, and do it in 24 hours. So I'm just proud of those moments that to really make a difference in what we continue to do. So those are my proud moments, just continuously growing and continuously thriving.
Well, thank you so much, Randall, for joining us today. Can you give us a little bit of information of how we can reach out to you, and how some of the pageant contestants following us can reach out to you for designs and coaching?
They can always go on Facebook and go on the Randall Effect, which is always very, very key. And then, of course, they've got www.therandalleffect.com. So you can go on my website. You can always reach me through there. You're more than welcome to go on Instagram at Randall K Smith and reach me, as well as Randall K Smith on Facebook. And most importantly, you can always call me at 770-364-9049. I am always available, and just call me, reach out to me, text me, hit me, knock me down. But it's important. Inbox me, whatever you have to do. But I'm available to make whatever dreams happen.
Well, thank you so much. I hope everybody got the information. We had a great conversation today and learned so much about your expertise in the industry, and we truly appreciate it.
Now, you got a big surprise. So any girl that goes through BCG and says that they saw the interview and they want to come for some kind of services, they will get a free walking lesson.
What? I hope everybody is listening. A free walking lesson.
So any girl that calls BCG, you have to call BCG, not me. You have to call BCG and go through BCG, and you can get a free walking lesson.
Okay, everybody listening, make sure you hit up BQG and let them know that you watched, and you get your free walking lesson with Randall. And that is something that is priceless. So you have to make sure you jump on that deal.
So jump on it. We have to support Beauty Queen Galore. We have to support our fellow people.
Yes. But thank you so much, Randall. That's amazing. I think one of the best endings to our interviews ever. Thank you so much. And we are truly so appreciative of you here at Beauty Queens Galore and everything that you do.